Good morning, dearest Gitaites. You know, I'm really musing this morning. Good morning, Brooke. What a treat. Look at anyone that comes here with just you come on the line, and I'm just so grateful for your presence and you're coming to such a thing as this Gita commentary, which I'm looking at it, and we're getting close to the end. So don't ask me what we're going to do next, because we're just going to take this moment at a time and see what happens. But it's so special, Mary and Alex. Thank you for coming on. Your presence is I'm so grateful for it. And I think we're all grateful for your presence, Lisa and Jim and Brooke. So we're still on the gunas. So what does this say to you? If this whole book, not all of you started with us from the very beginning, but you've been on for quite a while. And what do you make of this last chapter 18 of just being filled with what giving us what each guna is doing in its old fashioned way of creating a dream delusion and anything and everything that gets us off the target, you know, except for the sattva, and then hopefully we're in the rajas, but the rajas can get us a little bit, it's a little dicey in there, and of course tamas we want to avoid completely. But anyway, we're going to we're going to continue, my dears, on verse 27, and this is going to be about rajas for a while, and then I do believe we're back to tamas. So I guess there's a message here. So we'll let it lay at that. We'll just let it lay at that, and and jump on in. That's what we do. We jump on in. So thank you, holy ones. Thank you, Divine Mother. Thank you, friend, beloved God, and all the gurus for your unbelievable, un, unconditional love and patience with all of us, and especially this idea of bringing us back into that complete attunement, that complete oneness with you. Oh boy, I know you're waiting for that as much as our soul is waiting for that. So here we go. You ready, all? For verse 27 about Rajas. Here we go. That instrument of action. It's considered the instrument of action. It's the guna of action. Tamas is just kind of lay around and smoke the pipe, you know. But but on this one, you got desires to fulfill, pretty much. You have things to do, people to see, places to go. And then if you go to the sattva, there's no place to go but inside, into your divine consciousness, into that uninterrupted union that you have, and this personal, intimate relationship with the divine. As Yogananda said once, he said, greater than mastery over the whole science of yoga is your personal relationship with God. Greater than mastery over the whole science of yoga is personal, your personal relationship with God. Yeah. So I just had a poodle, doodle, a Pyrenees doodle walk into my room. So yeah. So let's see what the Rajas has to teach us this morning. Okay, it's that instrument of action, or you could call it the agent, that person, or that instrument of action or agent who is full of attachment, full of attachment. This is Rajas, full of longing for the fruits of actions, which is kind of in the sattvic world, it's like the opposite. We don't want to have attachment to anything. We want to let go of all of it, all the fruits and the actions that we do. We want to give it, we want to do it for God. We want to do it unselfishly. All right. But anyway, this is Rajas we're talking, full of attachment, full of longing for the fruits of action, full of greed, impurity, and ruthless propensities ruthless for more and more and more and of the same. Anything that keeps us restless, people have a hard time, being still. So then you add ruthless propensities on top of that. Now you got yourself a situation. So ruthless propensities, who becomes easily, I think we all can identify with these next little sentence, this sentence, who becomes easily jubilant and just as quick as you can be jubilant, you can be depressed. Yeah, becomes easily jubilant or depressed. Does that sound kind of like the roller coaster that we ride in the human condition? Just a little bit, maybe a little of this and a little of that. This is called Rajasic. This is called Rajasic, what we just read. I'll read it quickly. That instrument of action or agent who is full of attachment, full of longing for the fruits of actions, full of greed, impurity, ruthless propensities, who becomes easily jubilant or depressed, is called Rajasic. So, Yogananda gives us his commentary. A person who is under the ungoverned influence of the passionate or fiery energy, a person who is under the ungoverned, usually it's ungoverned, right? It's just the will of the wisp, the will of the wisp. Whatever feels, whatever you feel like doing at any given time. A person who is under the ungoverned influence of the passionate or fiery energy of the guna of rajas develops a holy, WHOLLY, materialistic, exertive nature. So you're in the world and of it. You're in the world and of it. You go to Sattva and you're in the world but not of it. You're in the Tamas and you're in the Netherlands, in the netherworlds. All right. So always restless and outgoing, Yogananda goes on to say, always restless and outgoing. He or she never spends time in pure enjoyment of meditation. That's an interesting little phrase, isn't it? Never spends time in the pure enjoyment of meditation. Yeah, restlessness is one of our greatest nemesis. Our greatest enemies is restlessness, my dears, because it keeps us from what? Sitting still. It keeps us from giving our whole self into that relationship with the union with God, right? To the pure enjoyment of that, to the pure enjoyment of feeling the divine presence within yourself. Or in introspection. So they never spend time in pure enjoyment of meditation or in much in introspection either, or in exchanging peace with others. You know, peace. At least we could bring our two fingers up, peace, or exchanging peace with others. He or she is excessively active, blindly accumulating money, property, and power with inordinate greed and sole self-interest. So I guess the reality for most folks, and it's been for us for many lifetimes too, and maybe some of this lifetime, is to go after what as Yogananda said, God is offering the gifts. He's offering all his gifts to us, or you can choose to take the giver, gifts or the giver. So many gifts in Rajas for material life, my dears. Yeah, but the giver is still going, well, maybe you could give me a little minute or two here and there, just so we just touch base, just to touch base. Yeah, maybe just a nice hug. Yeah, just a nice moment where we just maybe don't even say anything, we just feel each other's presence. Yeah. But the Rajas person is inclined to seek baneful thrills, such as the indiscriminate hunting of animals, just for the lust of the sport. When it suits his purpose, he can be insensitively harsh, even sadistic, ready to hurt. So he's taken the side of the Rajas that is, over the top in this one. We've had others where it's more mediocre, the Rajas, right? And sometimes even almost, bordering with a lot of sattva. Yeah. But in this case, this is why we keep repeating these gunas in this ending chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Is that we see those gunas in all their aspects. And in this particular verse 27, we're seeing it in, pretty much a gonzo, gonzo, go for it, you know, just for the sport of it, since he mentioned that, just for the sport of it, go for it. And when it suits his purpose, this Rajasic person, he or she can be insensitively harsh, even sadistic, ready to hurt or destroy any competitor, or to take revenge on anyone standing in the path of his self-interest. He or she is constantly bobbing up and down in excitation. So you can be a bobbing head doll, or bobbing up and down in excitation on the alternating waves of mirth and grief. He or she is nothing more than a cogwheel in the machinery of action, machinery of action, versus this quiet moment with the divine in meditation or introspection, right? We all know, we all have the same situation, my dear. So I think it's wonderful that we can just know each other and see each other and have beautiful thoughts and beautiful energies going to each other as you come here online. Narayan, Mary, Alex, Lisa, Jim, Rookie. Sometimes Vinny jumps on. Denny comes on. Let's don't ever forget our brothers and sisters, no matter what path they choose, whatever they choose to do or be or whatever, that we never stop loving them. Never stop loving, my dears. Just keep on loving. So a Rajasic person can sometimes be nothing more than a cogwheel in the machinery of action. A mechanical Rajasic person, Yogananda calls it. A mechanical Rajasic person. So even a little sattvic discrimination, just in all of that we just said, pretty Rajasic, right? Full on, full blown, go for it, go for the playthings of the world, go for everything like that. But and then now Yogananda is lightening up the load a little bit before we hit some rajas, I think. Yeah. I mean some tamas. He says, even though, even though a little sattvic discrimination and self-control aimed at restraining and guiding the passionate force in the base rajasic tendencies. So my dears, he's just saying, just give me a little. Let me have just a little piece of your love. God is saying a little piece of your time, right? A little sattvic discrimination and some self-control aimed at restraining and guiding this fiery, passionate force in the base rajasic tendencies. Just a little bit, having just a little more balance in who's fooling you, who's fooling who, who's fooling who here, right? The gunas fooling us, or are we on top of things and we're fooling the gunas, right? We know what they're doing. We know why they're there. We know how to get out of a negative situation, and so on and so forth, my dears. that we just a little bit like that will create a more principled, energetic personality, a more principled, energetic personality than all that other stuff he just said about that Rajas going crazy, easily jubilant or just as easily depressed, full of longing for the fruits of actions, ruthless propensities. Yogananda says, hey, just a little sattvic and a little self-control aimed at restraining and gaining the passionate and guiding the passionate force in the base rajasic tendency helps to create a more principled, energetic personality. How nice, how kind of him to give us a way out, right? The way out. But that's his job. That's our soul's job. When we say guru, really it's your soul is the guru, some say. I think that's kind of cool to kind of think in those terms. The real teacher is your own soul. Ideally, that you trust that. Yeah, that you trust that you are your own boss. That you are your own boss. And who's the boss, really? It's your soul. So we can reclaim and claim that the boss runs us. Yep, got to go to the boss. We got to check in with the boss. So, verse 28 of chapter 18. An agent who is oscillating in body and mind, conscienceless, arrogant, unscrupulous, malicious, slothful. Which one do you think we're on now? Of course, I gave it away earlier. I think this is all about the tamas. An agent who is oscillating in body and mind, conscienceless, no conscious, arrogant, unscrupulous, malicious, slothful, grieving, and procrastinating. That's not a good combo. It doesn't sound like to me. Grieving and procrastinating is tamasic. All right. Do you want to hear a little bit so we just have a full spectrum, my dears, of these gunas before we, turn a page in its index page of this Bhagavad Gita, just so we have a good view, a good vantage point of what goes on in these gunas, which run the outward bound train in this physical world, in this material world. So you want to hear Yogananda's commentary, my dear, since you're here? Since you're here, Brookie, a person immersed in the dark guna of tamas is the epitome of human delusive ignorance. The epitome of human delusive ignorance. Like the restless butterfly, Yogananda goes on to say, his mind or her mind and body are ever in a state of agitation. Yeah, that's got to be a tough way to go, right? But we all experienced it. And there's maybe still times that we do experience that we just can't get out of the state of agitation that easily, right? His mind and body are ever in a state of agitation, lacking the intelligence for decisiveness and the will for constructive action. Kind of frozen, kind of, numb, however way you want to look at it, lacking the intelligence for decisiveness and the will for constructive action. Wow. And what would be decisiveness and constructive action? Well, as he mentioned it earlier, maybe a little time with the divine and a little tiny eeny weeny meditation, something like that, or a little reflection, something like that could turn the boat around. Could really make a big difference, my dears, right? In this tamasic state that we're talking about now. That lacking of intelligence for decisiveness and the will for constructive action is a tough place to be in. He and she is passively pulled in one direction and then another by any momentary influence. Yeah, Madame Butterfly, since he did mention butterfly, like the restless butterfly, Yogananda had in his orderly lesson a little thing about Madame Butterfly. You sit down to meditate, and you're Madame Butterfly, and everyone always used to associate with that in the beginning. Yeah, he's you flit here, you flit there, you fly there, right? Yeah, in one direction and then another, passively pulled in one direction and then another by any momentary influence. So he or she thus never knows the peace of the soul within. Yeah, yeah. Well, the opposite of the agitation, if you want to put something in there as okay, well, what's the good news? It's being in the peace of your soul. Yeah, it's being in the peace of your soul. Instead of being passively pulled in one direction and then another by momentary influence, we we get attracted instead to the peace of our soul within, right? You all have that. You all have that beautiful time with the divine, I'm sure. Or you wouldn't be on this love line to the divine. This Gita expressed to the infinite bliss unmanifest, right? You wouldn't be here right now, my dears, if you didn't get a lot of that soul time within and a lot of awareness and a lot of decisiveness and constructive action as well. All of you are that. He or she thus never knows the peace of the soul within. She is, or he is, consciousless, morally crude. Now, this is Tamas, morally crude and vulgar, performing evil actions whenever the impulse arises in him or her. It's just a force, it's just an influence, these gunas. They're a universal force, my dears. We got to learn not to take it personally, kind of step back from this 3D HD world. Yogananda says that we need to have the consciousness of God so that we can have the consciousness of God when we are ready to leave this planet. But consciousness, the consciousness, right? We are consciousness. We're not the things we do. We're not these gunas either. So what a situation we are in this 3D HD, but we've been here before. And this is a heck of a good time and possibility for us to gain some ground, some spiritual, some spiritual authenticity and sovereignty over over these forces, that we don't want to take personally at all. They're going to be around for everybody. All right. And we're all in the same boat as well. So the Tamas person is without humility, rude, and insolent towards others at the slightest excuse. He or she unscrupulously deceives others, playing the double life of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. She or he readily acts with meanness and insult to others for his own self aggrandizement. He or she is habitually physically lazy and mentally idle, unwilling to work. God bless us. God bless our people, our souls. God bless the people of this earth. God bless that we all are dealing with an incredibly difficult situation with these gunas, any way you look at it. God bless us all, right? How can we even consider for a moment, make a judgment call for whatever the reasons are about anybody, right? When we have these forces that are forcing us to be the way that is being forced on us, right? We have to have mercy, my dears. This is the time to have unbelievable mercy on yourself. Yeah, because these creepers, these gunas can creep in at any given time. Just give them a little possibility, I guess, a little bit of a, a look and see of interest, and all of a sudden you're caught. You're caught in that force. So mentally idle, unwilling to work intelligently, less success, bring him more responsibility. So I guess the Tamas don't like responsibility. He and she is perpetually negative and depressed, dampening others' joyous spirits. It's like having what's a Scrooge? Yeah, have Scrooges around all the time, not just at Christmas time, but all the time. This is Mr. Scrooge is a Tamas person, perpetually negative and depressed, dampening others' joyous spirits. He and she does not finish either simple or important duties and procrastinates because of inner and outer slothfulness and lack of enthusiasm and purpose in life. Is a force, my dears. It's not the person. It's the force. It's the guna. All right? It's just the gunas. You can say that to yourself. Oh, this is the guna again going off. You get a temper a temper tantrum or some kind, or a push in a certain direction that you go, what? I don't need that, right? And you could say it's just the gunas. It's just the gunas. And I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not a guna. I'm not a guna. I'm a soul. I'm the peace of the soul. I am the light of the soul. So most people who do not succeed in life are steeped in the dark tamasic quality. God bless us all. That's all I can say right now. Just God bless us all. Any and everyone. Any and everyone. God bless us all. They blame those who are steeped in dark tamasic quality. They blame the world and everybody but themselves as the cause of their failure and misery. They never find fault with their own indolence, procrastination, unsociable conduct, restlessness, insincerity, selfishness, and maliciousness as the cause of their affliction. All right? Therefore, they are always depressed because they do not recognize and remove the true causes of their unhappiness. Yeah. Wonder what some of those are. We can do self introspection later, right? What are some of those culprits that remove the true causes, or not the culprits, but the good qualities that remove the true causes of their unhappiness? Yeah, because we need to recognize these ones, these good culprits, I should say, these good guys. Yeah, these good guys and gals who come to the aid of their party and can help us to be aware, have awareness of the causes of our unhappiness, right? The deeply unhappy tamasic individual should try first. So here's some pointers. Here's some help. Here's some advice from the guru. The deeply unhappy tamasic individual should try to become rajasic, right? Get off the couch. Maybe vacuum the floor. you know, Maybe start there. The deeply unhappy tamasic individual should try first to become rajasic, active, but with a noble purpose. It is better to work in harmony with God's divine activities than for selfish motives. It is better to work in harmony with God's divine activities. That makes total sense, right? Than for any activities done with selfish motives. But even a depraved businessman or woman, because of his activity, even a depraved business person, my dears, man or woman, because of their activity, they have a better chance for salvation. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yogananda always gives us angles. He always gives us a way out, it seems to me, right? Even a depraved business person, because of their activity and restlessness, has a better chance for salvation than the physically and mentally ossified tamasic person. The ossified person, the ones who's just frozen in place. Remember that thing that kids play, you know, where they say freeze, and you have to freeze wherever you are, right? That mentally ossified tamasic person freeze. They're just frozen in the effects of that tamasic energy that has taken control over them. Company is stronger than willpower. You've heard that quote from Yogananda before. Company is stronger than willpower. So both tamasic and rajasic persons should seek, both tamasic and rajasic persons should seek the influence of higher types, preferably sattvic beings, who are steeped in God realization, preferably those who are steeped in God realization. A wrestler who works out with a stronger combatant increases his strength. Weak tamasic and rajasic types likewise should associate with spiritually strong sattvic individuals. Good company, you know, good company, good persons, right? So really appreciate who you got in your life, my dears. You know, really, let's go on a super appreciation campaign of what you have in your life, right? You might have some Jim dandies of some beautiful souls there. In fact, you probably do. Even if you could come up with some things that wasn't a Jim dandy about them, you do have something special if they're around you, my dears. You attracted it. You deserve. You deserve. You deserve it. You deserve the very best of everything, because you're a child of God. It's that simple. All right. So, Rajasic and the Tamasic folks would do well in associating with spiritually stronger sattvic individuals. Environment is also influential. It creates a desire to become either good or evil. A man or woman has free choice to select a good or evil environment or action before she forms habits, but after a specific environment has instilled in us, or him or her, the desire to follow a good or bad habit, she usually loses her free will. A good habit compels a person to good, and an evil habit compels him and her to do wrong. Thus, they are helplessly are gravitated toward a corresponding environment. Yeah. Outer environment incites the inner as well as the outer behavior of man. So interesting to me that this is the end of the Bhagavad Gita, this chapter. Yogananda is just kind of putting up, hey, just be mindful. Just be mindful. of these forces that are all around us in this 3D HD heavy delusion, duality, dream delusion. Just be mindful. This is why I think that he's putting all this stuff into us towards the end, after all that spiritual wisdom that he's given us in the previous chapters. Wow. Outer environment incites the inner as well as outer behavior of man and woman. Thus, the creation of strong inner character is of a paramount importance so that it can then remain unaffected by or even change adverse outer influences. So we have strong character, you know. Again, we want to be sovereign. We want to be sovereign managers of ourselves. We want to be the one that catches these things before, you know, before the guna takes you over and you don't even know why you're frozen in place. Right, you're numbed out before you know it. Unless one's inner environment is sufficiently resolute, inner environment is sufficiently resolute, my dears, we're going to be done here for this when this paragraph happens here. Yeah, we're going to be done with this today's Gita stream. I hope everybody's still got a smile on their faces, right? Unless one's inner environment is sufficiently resolute, however, he should realize the importance of associating only with persons and environments that are extremely wholesome. Environment, stronger than willpower, right? Environment's everything. Yeah, environment is everything. A person who abhors liquor and who lives with others who do not touch it creates a strong inner mental. So, a person who abhors liquor and who lives with others who do not touch it creates a strong inner mental environment against drink. Such a one, by mixing with drunkards, may then be able to help reform them. But if a person who has established even a slight inner attachment to liquor elects to live among drinkers, she may easily become an alcoholic. A person with any inclination to wrongdoing should not mix with this kind, but with those who are better than she is or he is. Finally, the worldly person should seek out the meditative man and woman and create his own inviolable inner environment of God communion. God bless us. God bless us all. After that is accomplished, he has to return to a material environment or does so to help others. He will not be affected by it. If we can create an inviolate inner environment of God communion. After that is accomplished, we can return to material environment or does so to help others, but he will not be affected by it. And finally, my dears, only when he has thus strengthened himself can he be of help in uplifting others. This next section is called intelligence, buddhi, fortitude, dritti, and happiness, sukham, their higher and lower expressions. So it looks like we're leaving the gunas next week, dears. All right, for verses 29. I'm not even going to go past here. It's you know, I get like, wow. We've been so long on this Gita course in this Gita course that I don't even want to think of an end to it. Anyway, so that's that, my dears. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate you even more, right? And have a have a have a beautiful sattvic day with a lot of rajas that turns into just this amazing grace. And if anything tamasic comes in and tries to get your attention, just know that right behind that is an angel of love and light. You could say is Divine Mother right there. Always has been, always will be. All right. You all good? All right. Thank you so much, my dear. Tons of love from Bellingham and to you too, Rookie. It's always a blessing to have each of you here. Much love. Going to get ready for Sacred Soul meditation. You all very welcome to jump on there anytime, all the time. Much love and light, Narayanji. We'll probably see you soon. Aha. Well, what are the chats saying? Let me just see what your chats were saying. Good morning, soul friends. Tons of love from Birmingham. Okay, got it. All right, my dears. Love you. Love you more. God bless. Namaste.